people, welcome back to Nick J. Francis' channel. Arsenal have just beat Brighton 4-2 away from home. What an unbelievable game to end off the year. I'm reading all types of stats that have got me gassed. I don't even know where to begin. It was nearly squeaky bum time, to be fair. They started to come back towards the end of the game, and it could be one of them situations where we've scored a little bit too early. You know, we've scored 2 minutes in. We start to make changes maybe earlier than we want to. The emotions are running high, the adrenaline's running high, 3-0 up, and you know, it's extreme goods because we're 3-0 up in the game. We end up scoring 4, really tough place to go. But extreme bads as well because we're conceding, we look a little bit sloppy. A couple of defenders look a little bit off it as well, maybe some fatigue, some exhaustion. And we've got a bunch of games coming in January as well. So, you know, but obviously at the end of the day, we come out 4-2 winners. One of the big positives for me, and this is what I said when Gabby Jesus got injured and Eddie Nketiah had to come in, is that we as a team get goals from everywhere in our team. We get goals from all over the place. And today was a prime example. Eddie scored, Saka scored, Martinelli scored, Ødegaard scored. All of our front four chip in with goals. People spoke about Eddie Nketiah coming in for Jesus. Again, 2 goals and 2 starts. What more can you say? You know, at halftime I was checking Twitter. I don't know why I go on Twitter, it's full of scumbags, but there was bare people talking about the negatives of Eddie's game. At the end of the day, 2 goals in 2 games is more than what Gabby Jesus has given us. He's got 5 in about 14 appearances. He does a lot of other stuff, and I'm a big fan of them both, but this isn't the time at 7 points clear of City, taking advantage of them dropping points. This isn't the time to be criticising players like Eddie Nketiah that are stepping up. For those of you that did not know or do not know, Man City drew today, which meant they dropped 2 points. So we started the day 5 points ahead of them, and going into the new year, we are 7 points ahead of them. For some context, at the beginning of the calendar year, we were in 4th place. We were 15 points behind City. Now we are 7 points ahead of them. So that's a crazy stat. I also read a statistic that this calendar year, it's New Year, so we're talking about calendar years, not seasons, but this calendar year, we've won 71% of our league games. That is the second highest in the history of the club. The only time we ever won more was 72% back in 2002. So in terms of league form, this is the best form that we have seen ever in the history of the club. Going back to maybe the Invincibles era or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So like I say, there are always going to be mistakes. We're always going to concede goals. For me personally, Brighton away is one of the hardest games of the season. Outside of the top 6 teams, Brighton and Newcastle at the moment are probably 2 of the harder places to go and get points. Brighton this season have beaten Man United and Chelsea, and they drew with Liverpool. So they are a serious team. Their manager's very well respected. I think he played the game quite smartly. I don't think, obviously, conceding 2 minutes in is not part of the game plan, but I don't think they played badly at all. And we saw that when they were coming back towards the end. Had that last goal counted, it would have been 4-3, and then who knows what happens from there. So we rode our luck a little bit, but you know, we have to be in the game. We have to create our own luck, and that's what we did. I just feel like we were on 2nd or 3rd gear a little bit early, and we struggled to really sustain that. And I think that's why when the substitutions came on, we're trying to give everybody minutes, we're trying to keep everybody fit, but the guys coming off the bench were just not at the same level of pace and at the same level of intensity as the guys that were in the starting 11. So that's something that we need to work on. That's something that needs to be addressed. But I think KT looked really good when he came on. But I think Tomiyasu looked a little bit stiff. He was losing his position sometimes. Saliba was already not having the best game. Gabriel looked a little bit rash. So, you know, it's obviously your boy Elneny. He's going to do what Elneny does. Do you know what I mean? He's Mr. Reliable. But yeah, man, you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but this is what we need. Do you know what I mean? We need games that we go through and win, but we're not smashing teams 4 or 5-0. And I'll tell you why. It's really important that we learn. We're still in the growing phase in this team, right? Yes, we're top of the table. Yes, we're 7 points clear. No one expected us to be in this position. So for me, I want us to win games, but I want us to be challenged. I want us to, because now we can go into training and Mikel can say, right, here are the mistakes that we made and here's what we need to build on. And when you're winning games 4-5-0 as a player, you're not trying to hear about your mistakes and what there is to build on. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, winning games 4-2, 4-3, conceding, making some small mistakes, that's fine, because it shows us that this team has a couple of levels to go. in terms of that rotation that I mentioned, January is going to be huge. We know there's big talk of Mudryk. We're in a bit of a standoff at the moment with Shakhtar. They're trying to play hardball. But regardless of what happens, we need some reinforcements. Another winger, another central midfielder as well. The talk of Tielemans and Ndika on free transfers for the summer is huge. But right now, we need people that are able to come in and chip into this team with first team performances, whether that be goals, tackles, defending, helping us control the game. And that's what Brighton, again, more credit to Brighton. They didn't just allow us to control the game. We controlled the game for large periods of the game, but they never just let it happen. They would always continue to fight back. Even at 3-0 down, they would continue to fight back. I thought Mitoma was excellent on the left-hand side, caused us all sorts of problems. And our right backs are where we feel that we're strongest. We feel that, as Arsenal fans, a lot of us feel that right-hand side, Saliba and Tomiyasu, Saliba and Ben White and Tomiyasu, that side is generally quite solid. But I think the difference was just we had that little bit of extra quality today, and that's just what it is. We're a bigger, more successful club than them. But they're huge credit to them for what they did today and what they're doing across the season. They are really enjoyable to watch play and the kind of things that they're doing. But we just lacked a little bit of confidence. We lacked a little bit of composure at the back. But that was pressure that Brighton put on us at the end of the day. So I can't even really complain too much. In terms of man of the match, I really struggled last week between Ødegaard and Saka, and I'm struggling between Ødegaard and Saka again. I mean, these two guys are just competing at the top level week in, week out, giving great performances week in, week out. You want a player that's going to give you a 6 or a 7 every single week. These guys are putting in 8s and 9s every single game. Every single game. The stuff that Ødegaard is doing, he got a goal and assist today. He's so consistent, and again, like I say, consistent at the top level, and we need to see that. Hopefully, we can see that from Eddie. We've seen like Reece Nelson at the beginning of the season was doing quite well, but he's inconsistent. We see some other players that are a little bit inconsistent. Gabriel at the back is inconsistent sometimes, but these guys, just getting that consistency is so important, especially if we want to go and challenge for a title, so that we can put players on the pitch and know exactly what it is that we're going to get from that player. So we can build teams around them, we can build squads around them, we can build plans around them. That consistency is so key. And for me at the moment, the two guys that are given that is Saka and Ødegaard. Martinelli as well, I think a little bit below them. But these two guys are just absolute freaks at the moment. Gabby, again, 2 goals in 2 games, since he's come back from the World Cup. So he does look very hungry in front of goal. But I think Saka gives us a little bit more across the pitch, not just in that final third. But yeah, people would, like I say, the key takeaway is that it looks like we're okay. We can handle this couple of months without Gabby Jesus. Obviously, we're going to be all very happy to see him come back. But this is such a good calendar year for us in terms of league football. And we should be very confident. Not overconfident, not arrogant, not cocky, but very confident going into 2023 and trying to fight for this title. We're all going to be watching City games like absolute hawks, hoping that they drop any points. And it was a pressure game on us today. Once they dropped points, no doubt the game was finishing just as their team bus was pulling up to Brighton. So these guys would have been watching that, seeing it. And Arteta would have said to them before the game, listen, this is your moment to go out there and shine. And go out there and really put pressure on this Man City team and try to force them into, capitulating, because they've been there before, they've done it before. And I think that's the difference. I think for our team, we see some players in Saliba, Gabriel, whatever, who are very talented players, but ultimately have not been at this level. They have not been winning league titles, and kind of up in this kind of stratosphere of football. I think you can see for some of these guys, it's very new for them. And when we see Gabby Jesus, when we see Zinchenko, it looks very normal for them, but they have 4 Premier League titles already before we got them from City, obviously. So that's the difference in sort of mentality. We need these guys in our squad so much to bring that mentality to everybody else. But that's all I've got time for right now. Hope you guys have a good new year. Let me know who you think man of the match should be, because like I say, I'm struggling between Saka and Ødegaard. I'm leaning a bit towards Ødegaard, but I feel, I'm giving it to him every week at the moment. But you know what? If he deserves it, he deserves it. Do you know what I mean? So let me know what you guys think. And, we roll on to the next one. Peace.